Hello and welcome back to African Metaphysical Center for Spiritual Healing, Body, Mind, and Spirit Development. I am your host, Kufu Amara, your metaphysical practitioner, Reiki master, Qigong instructor, bond practitioner, and mystic. Today's topic is the ego, your spiritual assassin. Listen up. Right now, as you watch this, there's a war happening inside you, and you're losing. Your ego. It's not your friend. It's the prison guard keeping your soul locked up. You think you're protecting yourself when you defend your opinions. That's ego. You think you're being confident when you refuse to admit you're wrong. That's ego. You think you're maintaining boundaries when you cut people off for hurting your feelings. Sometimes that's just ego. The ego is a master manipulator. It whispers, you're better than them. You deserve more. They disrespected you. Protect your image. Don't let them see you vulnerable. And every time you listen, you build another brick in the wall, separating you from your higher self. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Spiritual elevation requires ego death. No, not ego management, not ego balance, death. Because you cannot ascend while carrying the weight of I, me, or mine. Think about it. Every spiritual master who ever lived or said to have lived had to kill their ego first. Buddha left his palace. Jesus washed feet. Muhammad meditated in isolation. They understood the ego must be crucified for the spirit to resurrect. Your ego keeps you in cycles. It craves validation, so you post for likes instead of purpose. It fears judgment, so you play small instead of stepping into your power. It needs to be right, so you argue instead of learn. It demands recognition, so you compete instead of collaborating. The ego is terrified of three things: silence, stillness, and surrender. That's why meditation feels impossible. That's why you can't sit with your thoughts. That's why letting go feels like dying. Because to the ego, it is dying. But here's what happens when you start starving your ego. You stop needing to prove yourself. You stop taking everything personally. You stop comparing your journey to others. You stop seeking external validation. You start accessing real power, the kind that doesn't need an audience. Spiritual elevation means seeing yourself as part of the whole, not the center of it. It means understanding that your triggers are teachers. Your enemies are mirrors. Your pain is initiation. The ego hates this. It wants you to be the victim, the hero, the main character. But spiritually, you're just consciousness having a human experience. And that's where the freedom is. So how do you kill the ego? You serve without needing credit. You listen without waiting to speak. You apologize without justifying. You forgive without keeping score. You create without needing applause. You love without expecting return. Every time you do this, the ego loses power. And yeah, it's uncomfortable. It feels like you're losing yourself, but you're not losing yourself. You're losing the false self, the constructed identity, the mask. So what's underneath? Your true essence, pure consciousness, infinite potential, connection to source. That's who you really are when the ego isn't running the show. So ask yourself, who would you be without your story, without your titles, your achievements, your past, your image, without the need to be seen, heard, validated, respected? That's your spirit, and it's been waiting for you to remember it. The ego will fight back. It tells you this is too extreme, that you need healthy self-esteem, that you matter too. And sure, there's wisdom in balance, but don't confuse self-worth with ego. Self-worth is knowing you're valuable because you exist. Ego is needing others to confirm it. Your spiritual elevation is on the other side of your ego's death. Stop feeding it. Stop defending it. Stop letting it drive. Sit in discomfort. Embrace the humility and surrender the control. Because the moment you release the need to be someone, you become everyone. You tap into universal consciousness. You access divine wisdom. You embody unconditional love. The ego dies so the soul can fly. Are you ready to let go? Ashe, ashe, ashe.